Chapter 3. Define and refine. Brainstorming refined. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. George Bernard Shaw. By now, you should have a few things on your brainstorming page. Now is when you turn your brain on and begin refining the story. In this next stage of brainstorming, you will accomplish clarity. You're going to try to clarify your dreams. For example, instead of saying, I want to read faster, you say, I want to read 700 words per minute. Instead of saying, I want a house, say, I want a 3,000 square foot house with 4 bedrooms and a basement, and I want to live near the country. The more details you write down on the define section, the better. I will define the process here, but this is much easier to show than to write in a book, so I recommend watching the video that I've called Refine and Define. The information is located at my website, dreamplanner.info, as well as the free training I give with the book. You will find that your defined dreams will fall into 3 categories. 1, things you fully understand and can schedule. 2, things you need to break down into separate goals and schedule them separately as they all depend on each other. 3, things you are unable to define at the moment, but until you get more information or coaching. These steps show how easy it will be for you to calendar in scheduling the things that need to get done. With these simple actions, you can mark off on your calendar the exact days you will achieve your goals. The reason most people never find an end to their goal is because it's not perfectly defined and it's not broken into steps on a calendar to see it fulfilled. How to eat an elephant. It is reported that the average person in the USA eats 135 pounds of sugar per year. Tiny little increments over a long period of time makes for unbelievable results. 10 years of daily sugar is 1,350 pounds. We hardly see this as a harmful effect on our health because it's such a tiny amount at a time. We don't realize the enormity of the task. Just as easily, you can apply this principle to the things you want to get done, your dreams. If this section seems even the slightest bit confusing, or you're one who needs to see this kind of illustration visually, please refer to the online video I did that accompanies the book. This part of the training is very simple and practical task management. The magic in this part of dream planning is since all things are done with attention and directed focus, we take the dreams from our brainstorming and refine pages and begin to add items to your day and then to your week until we see the dreams manifest. There are only 3 types of projects, and once you separate them and place them in your calendar, you will see how easy it is to achieve almost anything. The task, the multitask, the undefined goal. The task. Tasks are the easiest to accomplish. Simply decide how long your task is going to take and then prioritize them and write them in your calendar until they're completed. Some things in our lives never get done simply because we don't schedule their completion. With this one simple habit, you'll be able to start seeing the beginning and end of many tasks. The multitask. The multitask is one area that hinders many individuals because most people do not do anything if there's not a clear path to completion. We have a saying in business, confused people do nothing. Well, just as evident, people without clear steps do nothing. The way we get unstuck is to take our goals and break them into simple individual steps and then schedule those steps based on priority, just as previously explained in the section called the task. The undefined goal. If multitasks stop a lot of people, it's the undefined goal that stops the rest. Many times I tell individuals that the hardest thing they will ever do is write their first book, and the easiest thing they will ever do is to write their second book. The reason writing your first book is so hard is you don't know what you don't know. We just don't know all the things that we need to get done. Once you've mastered the tricks of the writing process, book number 2 is so much easier to write. The undefined goal is anything you desire to do, but the path is a mystery. So, you have to modify your process just a slight bit. Instead of scheduling things to do, you schedule things to learn. After you've gathered the information, it is as simple as committing to the task and getting it done. With today's technology, it's easy to find how to get things accomplished. Just 20 years ago, to figure out how to make a living, to speak on stage, to write a bestseller or a successful network marketing company, it was very tricky. With the information now at your fingertips, All you have to do is go get it. This is a very oversimplified process that I think most of you will grasp. If you need additional demonstration, you can find it on the accompanied online video instructions. Write the vision. Your future is a story. Here is the power of a written storyboard. We do nothing unless we see it in our hearts. The problem is we either talk ourselves out of it before it becomes a story, or we never fully tell the story. If your vision never materializes in your mind's eye, we're left with a vague dream and have nothing to shoot for. Writing down your vision is so powerful that I suggest you fill out a monthly vision sheet for the first year, and then reduce the frequency only to doing it every few months after the vision seems to become repetitive. The Dream Planner encourages you to do a smaller picture of it every week to help you picture yourself in doing new things or achieving new goals, all connected to your big goals. The best way to see your future is by writing down your vision. Writing is the act of clarification and imagery that happens when you focus on defining your goals. It clears the fog in your mind and provides action steps so that you can commit to doing. Now, let's take some steps to make your vision even clearer. Draw your dreams. If it is an image that we have inside of us that propels us, then let's stimulate that imagery faster by using the creative side of our minds to build it faster. Each month, the Dream Planner Workbook gives you space to do nothing but draw your picture where you see yourself in front of an audience, getting the raise, writing a book. It's not important how well you draw. The important thing is you put yourself in the picture. The power of having an image drawn. While life offers you failure, tries to suggest failure, or whispers reasons to quit, you won't accept the story because the drawn image serves as a reminder to keep you strong. If your picture is huge, when your boss tries to demean your efforts, you won't take it personally. If those around you don't see the vision yet, it's okay. Part of the cost of greatness and leadership is being alone. But you are not really alone. Even the great ones always had this one thing as their encouragement and companion: vision. Map before you begin. One of the greatest mindsets and tricks of the great achievers is found in having a map. No man would set out on a worthy journey without a map, and if he did, I'm sure most would consider him a fool. And yet we chart our lives by a vague compass, ideals that are foggy, mystical, or unrealistic. I have coached many people who, after they refined a dream they thought they had, realized almost immediately that there was no way they were going to invest the time needed to achieve that dream. Previously undefined, it was an unfulfillable fantasy that could now be laid aside in order to find and fulfill the things they truly could be inspired enough to achieve. Revisit the list. The power of revisiting the list is just as important as the goal we first designed. We must become people who are able to move, change, and modify if we want to stay current in business and life. I have this saying: write your plans in chalk and hand God the eraser. One of the great superpowers that you should develop is not staying married to your bad ideas. Let me use a writer's example. It is common for a writer to compose such a beautiful chapter or paragraph or sentence only to find out way too late that it didn't belong in the stories. Writers call it killing your babies because it feels like the death of something so precious. In the same way, it's so hard for many individuals to let go of their old plans. Holding on to things we have become emotionally attached to distract us from going on to greatness. Keeping old friendships, old goals, or old business ideals that are hindrances and not aligning with your dreams. This can stop us from achieving greatness. Voice yourself to success. One of the most powerful tools in your betterment or for your defeat is the voice that's speaking in your heart. The voice of a parent or a bully or a past failure may still be replaying in your heart, and you may be responding to those voices unawares. That voice is holding you back, and the sad thing is, it died long ago, but the voice that still remains is yours. You have taken that voice as your own. Stop continuing to listen to the negative voice. I am not smart enough. I'm too fat, too ugly, too stupid. Nobody cares about me. Nobody wants to hear me talk. The champions in this life have a different voice. Instead, they respond to those negative voices with, I can do anything. I'm amazing. People need to hear what I have to say. You have the ability to change that voice. Within the pages of the Dream Planner, I've structured some of the sections so that you can pen a new story. Voice yourself to success at least once a week. In the beginning of the week, before you write your tasks and your events, you'll write down the new voice onto the pages of the Dream Planner to replace the negative voices in your heart. I know there are a bunch of you who are bucking against this idea because there are many personality types who don't want to do the touchy-feely parts of self-development. I understand. I'm one of those people. Let me explain to you how valuable it is to write down a new voice, not only for you, but for those you will help to dream. Many people live every single day with the old filter, the old voices that are continually modifying and monitoring their every thought and deed. Because we have never given these voices a face or a solution, most of us will move through life being untrue to ourselves. This exercise I call voicing, and it should be practiced daily, but at a minimum weekly. On your Dream Planner worksheet, you have a section called Voice. In this section, make a list of the words you need to hear. These replacement words should counter all the negative words you have heard in the past. One of the great keys to this exercise is if it is uncomfortable and even embarrassing to hear yourself say great things about yourself, you're probably doing it right. So, if you hear the negative voices of the past trying to hinder you, just tell yourself the opposite. If you don't think you have any negative voices, try this. Say out loud, I am amazing. I am attractive. I deserve to be heard in all my relationships. People should value my opinion. I am kind, generous, and forgiving. There is nothing other people have that I can't have. Nothing people can do that I can't do. I am smart and capable. If any of these words coming from your mouth make you nervous, embarrassed, or uncomfortable, start with those. I know this amazing lady. Let's call her Diane. She's a salesperson and surrounded by men. She dresses a little bit frumpy and always looks a bit frazzled or beat down. After talking to her for just a very short time, I learned that she was frustrated and unheard. When she attends sales meetings, her ideas are ignored. During her meetings, if anyone listens at all, it's just long enough so that they can be heard. Diane is very caring and talented, and her sales are not bad, but she is not the sales leader by any means. Diane's external appearance portrays the way she feels internally. Her confidence is almost non-existent. I told her the story she projects and the story I see. I said to Diane, you have the potential to be the star whenever you walk into the meeting room. Your team members will hold the chair out for you, and they won't start any meeting until you arrive. If you practice your queenness, you will find people will begin to respond to your internal story. Dress as if you own the place. Speak as if you have something to say. Don't tolerate negativity or speak words that are not becoming of a queen. After less than 2 weeks, Diane reported back and said that she saw a change in her team members' demeanor and the way she was treated. 8 weeks later, I spoke with Diane and she'd reverted back to some of the old story, defeated and disheartened. Change does not happen overnight, and a lifetime of bad voices cannot be conquered in just 2 weeks. Revisit the story until you supplant the old one. Habit yourself to a new story. The people who know you the longest will be the slowest to change toward the new you, but most will. The greatest change will happen when you notice how the new people in your life treat you. You will find many of the negative responses you used to get change when your inner voice changes. That's why I have these exercises, voicing as part of your weekly reminder. For things to change, you have to change. For you to change, you must be committed and steady with the habit.